Hey everybody, it's Benny One, and I'm back at you with another Superman movie review, and we are moving on to the fourth movie starring Christopher Reeves as Superman, and that is Superman 4, The Quest for Peace, everybody. This movie came out in 1987, the year that I was born, and man, I gotta tell you, this Superman franchise has been really interesting rewatching and reviewing because I mean for like the first time I'm reading a lot about the making of these movies, and there is a lot of shit that went on behind the scenes with the making of all four of these movies that Christopher Reeves starred as Superman, and it a lot of crap happened behind the scenes. So the Sulkines. So we're gonna tell a little backstory, like I kind of have with all of these movies so far, because there's so much that goes on behind the scenes with the making of these movies. So the Sulkines decided after the failure of Superman 3, it didn't do that well, even though I think it's better than this movie. And then they also made Supergirl in 1984, a year later after Superman 3, which I will be reviewing next because it's tied into the Christopher Reeves Superman movies. It is. It's a part of it. They have characters that are in the Superman movies that are in that movie. They show a poster of Christopher Reeves Superman. So I'm almost done rewatching it, and I'm gonna review it. And it's not a very good movie either. So but it did not do well at all. So the Sulkines decided, you know what? I think we're done with this superhero business, and they sold the movie rights to Canon. That's right, everybody. The film company Canon, who is well known for their very cheaply budgeted BC movies. They are not known for making a lot of good quality movies. They don't ever make their movies with good budgets. So yes, Canon owned the rights to Superman back in 1987 when this came out, and man, the finished product most definitely shows that Warner Brothers and the Sulkines were not involved with this franchise anymore, unfortunately. So this movie was directed by Sidney J. Furie, and he was a pretty well-known director back then, and a lot of people thought with the action and the humor together that he was well known for doing in his movies, that he would be perfect to do the next Superman movie. But with the script that they had, the budget, because the budget was supposed to be, I think I remember reading about like $36-ish million, and that was about the same budget that the third Superman movie had, which looked good. Like special effects wise and everything back for when that was made, it looked pretty damn good still. So, but it got hacked in like half. I think it got cut down to like 16 or 17 million dollars to make a Superman movie, like back in the 80s. Like, so that right there alone spells it out for you, basically, like how this movie turned out, unfortunately. So, but they got everyone to come back. They got all the people that were in the other Superman movies to come back. Christopher Reeve is back as Superman and Clark Kent, even though he did not want to come back. After Superman 3 and his experience with what happened with the other two Superman movies and the third Superman movie, he's very sour about this character and working with the Sulkine. Like, he did not want to come back. So the studio told him that he can have even more creative like control. Like, he's the one that basically kind of came up with the story, or the general story. He didn't write the script, but he's the one that came up with the story of Superman ridding the world of nuclear weapons. Like, that was his concept and his idea. And he also got to direct some stuff in this movie, which I think I saw it was like second crew stuff, but he did get to do a little directing on this one. And then he also was promised a future film, and of course, more monies, because that's always convinced people to come back. So, yes. And then Gene Hackman even was convinced to come back. They convinced him to come back and play Lex Luthor. And you can tell that Gene Hackman in this movie is just eating up the scenery. He knows that this is a silly movie. Christopher Reeves knew that this movie was not going to be good because he told a newcomer, which I will get to, he told a certain character that's in this movie when he came to set to start filming, he flat out told him that this movie is going to suck, just so you know. I'm sorry. So I think all the people that were involved with this kind of knew that this was not going to turn out very well. So Margot Kidder came back as Lois Lane, and her and Christopher Reeve did not get along filming this movie, unfortunately. It's well documented that she said his ego just got way too big because he had so much control, creative control with what was going on, and his career was big at the time because of Superman. So they didn't get along on set, which kind of sucks because they had... But I think the movie itself, though, you can't tell. Like, I still think they have that chemistry that they had in all the other movies. So I don't think you could tell. Jackie Cooper was back as Perry White. Mark McLaurin is back as Jimmy Olsen. I will say that Perry and Jimmy's parts in the movie are pretty small. And John Cryer, everybody, that's right, 2.5 Men. And our most current version of Lex Luthor plays Lenny Luthor, everyone. He's this very comedic presence because I think he was just hot off playing character in Pretty in Pink, I'm pretty sure. So that's why they brought him into this, because he was very big at the time. Like, that moment, he was... So they brought him in to be Lenny Luthor, and that's who Christopher Reeve told, this movie's not going to be good, just so you know. So, and he was probably excited. He's like, holy crap, I get to be in a big superhero flick, Superman movie. And then he's like, yeah, this movie's going to suck. I can imagine he probably was like, oh, shit. And then Mariel Hemingway, she plays Lacey Warfield, and she is the daughter of David Warfield, played by Sam Wanamaker, I think is how you say his last name. But he... buys the Daily Planet, and he literally is just trying to turn it into this trashy tabloid newspaper, and it pisses Perry White off. It's like this subplot in the movie, and then he puts his daughter Lacey kind of in control and gives her power, and it's kind of like they overthrow the hierarchy at the Daily Planet, and like Perry White walks out at one point. Lois threatens to leave. This is too much and too far. I don't know, it's kind of just a subplot that's there. They don't really do too much with it or do a good job with it as far as the story goes, but that's the subplot in the movie. So, but the movie as a whole, the special effects are not good in this movie at all. They're easily the worst special effects in any of the Superman movies that have ever come out. Even the older ones. It's crazy to me that the original Superman movie that came out in 1978, the special effects and the care that was done with that movie, even the second one, even the third one, I cannot believe that almost 10 years later, we got this movie. They literally use a shot of Christopher Reeve's Superman flying, like, over 10 times, I swear, in the movie. It's the same shot of him flying. They literally did not film anything different. They reused so many shots in this movie, and it's so blatantly obvious. I didn't notice that stuff when I was a kid, but I notice it now as an adult, man. Holy crap. And the story it's a pretty basic story. It's literally about a kid in his classroom literally says, why don't we ask Superman? Why don't we have Superman just take care of all the nuclear weapons and end war in the world? So he writes him a letter. Superman turns him down, and then he decides, you know what? Maybe I actually should do this. This kid's right. It would be smart. So he gets all the nuclear weapons. He de-arms the entire world. Pretty much creates peace within the world. But then you have Lex Luthor, who... And this is one of the things that's really silly about the story is he goes to this museum where Superman donated a lock of his hair, a piece of his hair, and it is holding up a 1,000-pound sphere ball. in some glass by a piece of hair, because Superman's hair is strong. And Lex Luthor and Lenny, his nephew Lenny, go in there with some bolt cutters, and Lex breaks the glass. No alarms or anything go off. And he cuts Superman's hair with these bolt cutters. And if any of you know that Superman, who he is and how strong he is, that is not possible at all. You can't just take bolt cutters. If they had kryptonite on the blade, or they were kryptonite blades, yes, I would believe it. You could cut the hair, but it was not kryptonite. So yeah, it's just silly continuity things like that. The Kent farm, like Clark, there's a scene with Clark, which is a really cool story part, where he goes back to Smallville and he has to decide if he wants to sell it and who to sell it to. The Kent farm, it's a completely different farm. It's not the same farm that was in the first two movies. It's completely different. It's very noticeable. And as me being a comic book fan, that shit kind of irritates me. They could have used the same one. I'm not sure why. Probably costs more money, I'm sure. But yeah, and it's a cool scene. Like, that could have been something really cool. And there's also something in this movie where Superman just has these powers that I'm like, where did these come from? The Kiss and Lois thing, he does it again, which I established in the review of the other movie, that he did have that power in the comics, and they retconned it, but it did exist at one point. But he literally looks at his spaceship that he crash landed on Earth, and it literally just disappears. It just disappears after he looks at it. I didn't know he could do that kind of stuff. And then there's another part of the movie with our big bad villain in the movie, Nuclear Man. That's right. It looks like the Great Wall of China, I'm guessing. He literally, after Nuclear Man blows it up with his hands, because Nuclear Man shoots beams out of his hands too, and he just looks at it, and they have like this blue heat vision. It looks like heat vision, but it's blue, and he repairs the wall with his eyes by looking at the wall. I did not know Superman was capable of these kind of things. It's kind of crazy. It's that silly. And yes, Lex Luthor takes that hair and he makes a clone of what was supposed to be a clone of Superman, of Christopher Reeve, but they decided to go with this British model actor person that Gene Hackman's voice was dubbed over for him, instead of his voice. And that when he throws a missile into the sun, Nuclear Man is born. And then we get this few fight scenes with him and Nuclear Man that look god-awful in space and on Earth. And somehow, Lacey Warfield gets taken into space by Nuclear Man, and she does not die. She does not suffocate. Nothing. I don't get that shit. Last time I checked, us as humans, we can't breathe in space. We do not breathe in space. So, I don't really know. But overall, guys, the movie's not that good. The story's not good. The concept was there. The budget was not good. It really showed in the special effects. There was all sorts of bad vibes going on behind the scenes with the filming. Your lead stars don't get along. And the movie's not good. It's not a good Superman movie. And there was not another Superman movie for a really long time after this movie came out. Like, a long time. Superman Returns came out in 2006. And this came out in 1987. So this kind of killed and left the Superman movie franchise in dormant for a really long time. So I'm going to give Superman 4, The Quest for Peace, a 4 out of 10. It is a bad Superman movie, everybody. So I hope you guys enjoyed that review. I thank you for watching, and I'll be catching you on the tube later because I have spoken.